Hey everyone, and welcome back. I'm so excited for this deep dive. We're tackling something I know a lot of you have been asking about, scaling an online business.
Yeah, it's one of those things that sounds, well, kind of simple on the surface, but then
Right, you get into it and it's like, whoa, there's a whole lot more to it than I thought.
exactly. Which is why we're lucky to have this awesome article from blogwidow.com. They really break it down.
They do. So mission for today is to figure out how to grow smarter, not just bigger, especially in this crazy year of 2025. Because just adding more of everything, customers, products, whatever, isn't always the answer,
It's
right?
not just about more, no, that can actually backfire big time if you don't have the right foundation in place.
Okay, so Blog Widow makes a really important distinction between scaling and plain old growth. And I love the analogy they
Oh,
use.
yeah, the bakery.
The bakery, it's like, if you just bake more cakes, that's growth, sure. But if you figure out how to make twice as many cakes with, I don't know, only a little more flour in a slightly bigger oven,
Now you're talking. That's scaling.
that's efficiency, which is what we all want, right? Less input, more output.
It's the dream. And Log Widow lays out 5 big reasons why scaling matters, especially for online businesses in 2025.
5 reasons. All right, well, let's dive in. First up, profitability. Makes sense, right? You do more with less, keep more of the money you make.
It's like the holy grail of business, isn't
Yeah.
it? And scaling, done right, gets you closer to that.
Okay, so that's the obvious one. But what about reaching more people? Like, I'm thinking global domination. How does scaling help with that?
Market expansion. So scaling lets you reach a wider audience, potentially even going global,
Without your head exploding.
without it all turning into a total logistical nightmare. Yeah.
Oh.
Think of companies like, I don't know, Spotify. They've got millions of users worldwide, and they're able to manage that because they've got really sophisticated systems in place.
Automation, right. Everyone's talking about it these days.
Yeah.
But is it really all it's cracked up to be?
It's definitely a key ingredient. You can't really scale without it. Think about it. You're delegating tasks to, well, tireless robots. Chatbots handling customer questions, emails going out automatically. But, and this is important, it's not about replacing humans entirely.
No, it's about augmenting them.
Giving them superpowers, freeing them up to focus on the things robots can't do.
Like actually connecting with customers on a human level.
Right, because no one wants to feel like they're just talking to a machine. Speaking of customers, Blog Widow also talks about sustainability as a benefit of scaling, and I'm curious.
Sustainability, yeah, this isn't just about being eco-friendly, though that's important, obviously.
Hmm.
It's about building a business that can handle change.
Ride the waves, roll with the punches.
Exactly. Like, think back to all the craziness that's happened in the economy recently. The businesses that were able to adapt, the ones that were efficient, they were the ones that survived, right? That's a good point. You're almost future-proofing your business. And finally, Blog Widow mentions investor appeal. Now, even if you're not looking for investors right now, why would building a scalable business matter?
Well, think of it this way. It's kind of like building a house with strong foundations. If you ever do want to bring in investors, they're going to be much more interested if they see that your business has the potential to grow.
Without falling apart.
Exactly. It's a sign that you're thinking long term, that you've got systems in place to handle that growth.
Okay, so scaling sounds pretty amazing so far. More profit, wider reach, things running smoothly.
But there's got to be a catch, right?
Right, it can't all be sunshine and roses. What are some of the challenges that come with scaling?
Well, Blockwitter gets real about that too, and they list out some potential pitfalls.
Okay, lay it on me. What keeps online business owners up at night when they're thinking about scaling?
I think one of the biggest ones is maintaining that personal touch as you grow. It's easy to lose sight of that when you're dealing with more and more customers.
It's like, have you ever felt like just a number to a big company? Like no one actually cares about you, you're just a transaction.
The worst.
And no one wants to be that company, right? But how do you avoid it as you grow?
It's a balancing act for sure. We'll get into some strategies later on. But another thing that can trip people up is the operational side of things. Like, imagine if your website suddenly has 10 times the traffic, but
But it wasn't built for that.
exactly, it crashes, people can't buy your products, it's a disaster. And then there's customer service. Suddenly you've got way more inquiries than you can handle.
Total chaos.
And on the financial side, scaling often requires upfront investment, which can be scary for a lot of people.
Oh yeah, and Blog Widow actually tells some cautionary tales about companies that expanded too quickly without a solid financial plan.
Those are always good reminders that growth for growth's sake isn't always a good thing.
Okay, now I'm starting to feel the pressure. So we've got customer satisfaction to think about, operational efficiency, and cash flow. Plus, there's the whole tech landscape, which is always changing. Like, how do you even keep up with all the new tools and platforms that are supposed to help you scale?
I know, it can be overwhelming. There's always something new and shiny coming out. But Blog Widow makes a really good point. It's not about chasing every trend.
No, it's about
Finding what actually works for your business, figuring out your specific needs, and then finding the tools that address those needs.
so it's about having a strategy, not just randomly trying things and hoping for the best.
Exactly. And that's what we'll dive into next. We're going to go through some of the tools that Blog Widow recommends and, more importantly, how to figure out which ones are right for you.
Awesome. I am ready to get tactical.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's get down to business and talk tools. I mean, Blog Widow lists a ton of platforms and software that are supposed to help you scale.
But it's not like one size fits all, right?
Definitely not. It's more like, building a custom toolkit.
Exactly. Like, you wouldn't use a hammer to tighten a screw, right?
Nope. You need the right tool for the job.
And the right tool for your job might be totally different from someone else's.
So true. Okay, let's break these tools down by category. First up, the heart of any online store e-commerce platforms. Blog Widow mentions Shopify Plus and WooCommerce. And I gotta say, those sound pretty intense.
Yeah, they're definitely heavy hitters. Shopify Plus is like the platform for when you're ready to really scale up big time.
Like when you're handling massive amounts of traffic and sales.
Exactly. But, that kind of power comes with a price tag, both literally and in terms of, like, complexity. It's not the easiest platform to learn.
So if you're just starting out, maybe not the best place to jump in.
Probably not. Now, if your website's already on WordPress, WooCommerce might be a good fit.
Oh, because it integrates seamlessly.
Yeah. And it's open source, so you have a lot more control over how you customize it. You're not stuck with, like, a limited set of features.
Okay, makes sense. So we've got our platform to sell stuff, but what about managing all those customers? The article talks about CRM tools, customer relationship management, and I always get these two mixed up, HubSpot CRM and Salesforce. Like, what's the difference?
A lot of people get them confused. Think of HubSpot as your all-in-one marketing and sales buddy. It keeps your customer info organized, helps you send targeted emails, that kind of stuff.
But wouldn't all that automation feel kind of impersonal?
It can, yeah. That's why it's important to use it strategically, not just set it and forget it. You still got to have that human touch.
Right, finding that balance.
Yeah.
So is HubSpot more for smaller businesses then?
It's definitely a good starting point. Now, Salesforce is a whole other beast.
That's the one for when you're dealing with like thousands, millions of customers, right?
Exactly. It's designed for those huge enterprise-level companies. It can be overkill if you're not quite there yet.
Okay, got it. HubSpot for starting out, Salesforce when you're hitting the big time. Now let's talk automation and workflow. Blog Widow recommends Zapier and Asana, and I gotta say, Zapier always sounds a bit like science fiction to me.
It kind of is. Imagine being able to connect all your different apps and automate tasks between them.
Okay, so like if someone fills out a form on my website,
Boom! Zapier can add them to your email list, send them a welcome message, maybe even notify your team about the new lead,
all automatically.
all without you lifting a finger.
But do you need to be like a tech genius to use it?
Nah, it's surprisingly user-friendly. You just set up simple if this then that rules.
Oh, no coding required.
Nope. And Asana, that's your project management superhero. As your team grows, you need a way to keep everyone on the same page,
Oh,
right?
for sure. Otherwise, it's just like chaos.
Asana helps you assign tasks, set deadlines, share files, all that good stuff.
So no more frantic email chains and missed deadlines.
Hopefully not. Now, we can't forget about the financial side of things. Blog Widow recommends QuickBooks Online and Stripe. And I gotta be honest, QuickBooks always makes me think of like taxes and boring accounting stuff. I hear you, numbers aren't everyone's favorite thing.
Definitely not mine.
But QuickBooks Online can actually be a lifesaver. It helps you track expenses, send invoices, and get a really clear picture of your cash flow.
Okay, so maybe it's not that boring. What about Stripe?
Stripe's all about online payments. Super secure, easy to integrate with your website, and it handles payments from all over the world.
Global domination.
Yeah.
Here we come. All right, last category, customer support and experience. Blog Widow suggests Zendesk and Intercom. But help me out here. What's the difference?
So both are great for managing customer interactions, but they have different strengths. Zendesk is kind of like your classic help desk experience. You've got a ticketing system to keep track of everything, make sure nothing falls through the cracks.
So if my inbox is overflowing with support emails, Zendesk can help me, like, wrangle the chaos.
Exactly. Now, Intercom is a bit more focused on building personalized customer relationships. You've got live chat, targeted messages, even a knowledge base, all in one platform.
Okay, so it's more proactive, more about preventing problems in the first place.
Yeah. And Blog Widow throws in a couple more tools just for good measure.
Yeah.
Clavio and Buffer. Ever heard those?
Buffer, yeah, that's for social media, right?
You got it. Helps you schedule and manage all your social media posts, which is a huge time saver.
Because ain't nobody got time to be posting on 5 different platforms all day long.
Exactly. And Klaviyo is all about email and SMS marketing automation, but specifically for e-commerce businesses. Think targeted promotions, personalized recommendations, that kind of stuff.
Okay, I gotta say, my head is spinning a little bit. That was a
Nice.
lot of information about a lot of different tools.
It's a lot to take in, for sure. But the good news is you don't need to use all of these tools. It's about finding the ones that are the right fit for your business.
Like we were saying earlier, having a strategy, not just randomly trying things and hoping for the best.
Exactly. And remembering that tools are just tools, right? They can help you scale, but they can't do the work for you.
You still need a solid plan, a great product, and, that passion for what you do.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So we've talked about the what and the how of scaling, but before we get too lost in the tool jungle, I think it's time to step back and talk about the bigger picture, like the mindset shifts and strategies that are crucial for success.
Absolutely. Tools are important, but they're just one piece of the puzzle.
Okay, so we've covered the tools,
Yeah.
but like having a fancy toolbox doesn't automatically make you, a master builder or anything.
It's true. You need to know what you're doing with those tools.
Right. And luckily, Blog Widow wraps up their article with some, big picture tips for scaling success.
The strategic stuff, yeah.
Exactly. And I feel like this is where it gets really interesting. So, first up, they emphasize something we've touched on a few times already, investing in automation, but strategically.
Right. It's not about just like automating everything.
No, it's about figuring out which tasks are best suited for robots and which ones need that human touch.
It's about making your team more efficient, not replacing them entirely.
So, how do you decide what to automate? Where do you even start?
I always tell people to think about the tasks that are, repetitive, time-consuming.
Soul-sucking ones.
Exactly. Things like sending out welcome emails, scheduling social media posts, maybe even some basic customer service stuff. Those are usually good candidates.
Because that frees up your human team to focus on, the creative stuff, the problem solving, the things that actually require a human brain.
And a human heart. Because, let's be real, robots aren't that great at empathy.
Which brings us to Blog Widow's second tip, customer retention. It's so easy to get caught up in the excitement of growth and forget about the people who got you there in the first place.
It happens all the time. But it's so much cheaper to keep an existing customer happy than it is to acquire a new one.
So how do you do that? How do you keep customers feeling valued, even as your business grows?
I think it comes down to like those little things that make people feel seen and appreciated.
Like personalized communication.
Yeah, loyalty programs can be good too. And of course, amazing customer service never goes out of style.
It's about going above and beyond, even at scale. Okay, Blog Widow's third tip is all about data analytics. And I gotta be honest,
It's not the most exciting topic, I know.
I'm more of a big picture person. Numbers aren't really my thing.
But data doesn't have to be scary. Think of it like a treasure map. It can help you understand your customers better, figure out what they want, what they're doing on your website.
And then use that information to improve their experience.
Exactly. It's about making data-driven decisions, not just guessing.
So for someone like me who's data averse, where would you even suggest starting?
Start with the questions you want answered, like what are your customers most interested in? Where are they getting stuck in the buying process? Tools like Google Analytics can help you track all that.
Okay, that makes it seem a little less intimidating. And finally, Blog Widow's last tip for scaling success is outsourcing, which I know can be a tough one for a lot of small business owners.
It can feel like you're losing control.
Yeah, like letting go of your baby.
But the truth is, you can't do it all yourself. Not if you want to scale effectively.
So the idea is to outsource the tasks that, are important but maybe not your core strength.
Exactly. Things like bookkeeping, graphic design, maybe even some customer support stuff.
So you can focus on what you're really good at.
And what you're really passionate about. That's how you build a sustainable business.
Wow. This deep dive has been like a total roller coaster. We went from feeling completely overwhelmed by the idea of scaling to actually feeling kind of excited about it.
That's what we like to hear. It's all about breaking down the complexity into, manageable steps.
So if there was one key takeaway you'd want our listeners to remember, what would it be?
That's a tough one. I think it would be that scaling is a journey, not a destination. There's no magic formula.
It's about constant learning, adapting, trying new things.
And finding what works for you. There's no one right way to do it.
Well said. And, we've talked a lot about the how of scaling, but maybe an even bigger question is why. Like, as your business grows, what impact do you want to have on the world?
Ooh, that's a good one. Something to ponder for sure.
Definitely. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap things up. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into scaling online businesses. We hope you've learned a thing or two and feel inspired to take that next step.
And remember, even small steps can lead to big results. Don't be afraid to start small and experiment.
Until next time, keep chasing those dreams.